All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding. You're kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. And you're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right, time to get into the latest news from the world of Hollywood and beyond. Of course, we usually dive into the world of DC and Marvel as always. So to do that with me today, I've got John. How are you doing today?
Anyway, but yeah, I've been learning to like the news. The news is good, and excited about the fan casting. But let's jump right the hell into it.
Let's do it. All right, you know what? I think I want to do this all quick hit style. Let's hit the Bossa Nova elevator here. We're gonna do it quick hit style. So, all right, we've got the news to talk about today. Deadpool and Wolverine will reportedly return in Avengers Doomsday. John, are you surprised?
No, I'm not. I wish we were still in the world where Hugh Jackman's last appearance as Wolverine was Logan, because it fucking meant something, and now it's till he's 90, and I want to shoot myself in the head.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be sticking around, literally almost till he's 90. But yeah, it's no surprise to me because Avengers Doomsday feels like it's again like a two-part Avengers story where we're gonna have all the different Avengers, and Deadpool and Wolverine are joining the MCU for one reason,
also,
and that is to be a part of the Avengers.
I love how Supergirl just started filming it, and it's coming out a month after this, and they still haven't finished the script yet.
I don't understand. I don't. You know what? Like, Marvel has a way of doing things, but clearly it has mixed results, as we have seen in recent years. I hope this Avengers movie looks good, man, because I don't want to see unfinished VFX. Now, speaking of VFX, of course, before VFX used to be all digital and everything. A lot of VFX used to be just hand-drawn animation, cell animation and stuff. But as far as animation goes in general, for this part, I'm just gonna turn off the music because just to be more respectful to the great Mike Toth. He was one of the veteran animators over at Disney. He was part of the Renaissance era of Disney, who worked on projects like Tarzan, Mulan, Hercules. He has passed away. Now, this is from a couple of days ago, but I wanted to bring this up because I think we're living at a time where animated movies, like for example last year, they dominated the box office, and quite frankly, movies like Inside Out 2, movies like Despicable Me, 4, even Shrek 5 coming up, Ice Age 6, and all the Toy Stories of the world, or anything that we get animated today, regardless of whether it's 3D or not, or whether it's 2D, whether it's anime, hand drawn or otherwise. They stand on the shoulder of giants like Mike Toth, who did a lot of great work back in the day when Disney was still a pioneer in the land of animation. And today, while they're doing a lot of live action remakes, I think ultimately a lot of us will agree that the original animated movies still stand the test of time. And Mike Toth was one of those animators who worked on a lot of the iconic ones, including, like I said, Mulan, Hercules, and Tarzan. John, what do you think about the contribution that Mike Toth made to our cultural zeitgeist, as it were?
Honestly, fantastic. And honestly, he kind of looks like Jim Cummings here a little bit, who's voiced a lot of stuff in these Disney projects. So, I just found that to be kind of interesting. But yeah, suffering a great loss, and it's always sad to see that. But that's the constant when it comes to life itself. Is that one day we will all shuffle off this mortal coil, but he has a great legacy behind him, and that's gonna be a tough one to top, but he left his mark on the world in one of the best ways possible, and I'm okay with that. So blessed be Mike Toth wherever you are in the known universe. we are happy that you created or helped create some amazing movies that will stand the test of time. That Disney now will ruin, unfortunately. But
I mean, but still, you can go back and watch the original Mulan, Tarzan,
Mm-hmm.
Hercules, all iconic movies. I think Mulan for me is still like, quite an achievement
Oh,
that is
yeah.
going to be hard to top.
Oh yeah.
Tarzan, of course, iconic, and Hercules too. I'm sure we're going to get a live action version or even a Marvel one, but yes, Mike Todd, of course, our thoughts and prayers are with his friends and family in this time of mourning. But with that said, let's keep the ball rolling here. Of course, I'm going to turn the music back on. So, Severance Season 2, BBC already put out a review for it. The show starts airing this week. The dystopian office drama works the same magic, but is even more mind-bending, according to the review, John. Are you excited? Is this a show that you are looking forward to? I don't even know if you watched the first season.
Don't watch the show.
Quite frankly, for me, I remember when this show
No
first came
offense
out.
or anything, but
Dude, the first season was addicting. The first episode was a little slow, but then things really pick up quickly. And I'll be honest with you, it's one of the best thrillers, one of the best TV shows on right now, period. And season 2, of course, starts airing this week. So if you haven't already, I would recommend go and catch up on season 1 because this is going to be one of those water cooler talk shows. People will be talking about it, and you're going to want to be a part of the conversation. John, is this a show that has at least piqued your interest since the time that it's been out? Because it's been a few years now, and I know people stop talking about it because obviously as time passes by, we pay attention to what's in front of us. But now that the show is back, I'm sure you probably saw there was a trailer out there for it. Did it pique your interest at all? Are you interested in catching the show, even if you have to catch up on season 1 before you get onto?
I mean, it sounds like a really good show, and it sounds like something I'd be interested in. I like the cast. It's definitely a lot of really good mind-bending ideas. I liked the premise. It was just one of those things where it's I should watch this show, and then I never do. Nothing against it. It's just I got that fucking riddled brain of I can't, I gotta do this thing, gotta do this thing, gotta do this thing, gotta do this thing, gotta do it. So it's it's an ongoing. I'm like a hamster in a wheel, just constantly going, and it's noticing different things or I need to do that, but then I just don't. No offense to the show, it's just that's my brain is a fickle mistress, unfortunately.
I hear you. I do hear you on that. Well, I mean, season 2 of Severance is starting to air now, so by the time you're watching this, you might have already seen episode 1 of season 2. Let us know in the comments below what you think about it so far, and is it as mind-bending as ever, much like what the BBC says. They seem to have enjoyed season 2. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Now, of course, a show that just finished airing its first season is Skeleton Crew. And according to this post here, which I found on Threads, it's from the Daily Cosmic Marvel. They are reporting here. Let me see if I can get my hands on this. There we go. The 2-episode premiere of Skeleton Crew had the lowest viewership for any Star Wars show, with 382 million minutes viewed. And for comparison, The Acolyte had 488 million minutes viewed. Of course, this is talking about the premiere episode. I believe the ratings went up, unlike The Acolyte where they went down. But again, The Acolyte got canceled after the first season. Do you think this bodes well for a Skeleton Crew coming back for another go-around?
Who gives a fuck? I don't care about Star Wars, Disney Star Wars. I just don't care. I really don't care. It's just one of those things. I'll enjoy the memes and whatnot, but the fucking people with a hard-on for Disney Star Wars are ridiculous, just as ridiculous as the people that have a hard-on against Disney Star Wars. It's all ridiculous because it's just it's too much content that I just don't care about. I'm sure 10-year-old me would have been really happy about all this, but I just can't. If you enjoy it, great. If you don't, also great. It's just I'm so indifferent at this point. I like the original movies. I like the original 3 movies. I like bits and pieces of the prequel series. I kind of like Force Awakens, even though it's just a remake of A New Hope essentially. But I just can't. I don't know. I'm just so tired, and that's a shame because I still technically love this franchise, but I'm just tired, and I don't really thinking about it, seeing it, talking about it. I know that may seem mean. I don't want to be a negative Nancy when it comes to Star Wars, because Star Wars is such an innately magical, wonderful thing to a lot of people, but it's just with this much content, so quickly and to like assembly line. It's just like, oh, I just can't find myself being invested in this as much as I want to be or should be, you know, as a fan. I still consider myself a fan. So, you know, yeah. I just, it's sad, but that's the reality.
Yeah. I mean, look, the ratings don't bode well for it because, again, The Acolyte got canceled and it had better numbers, at least to start off with the premiere, and then it went downhill. But hopefully, the, you know, because Skeleton Crew was more well received. Jude Law is, you know, great as always. It was sort of like, you know, having like the Goonies version of Star Wars. So, yeah, I do hope that we get more, because to me, it kind of represented a little more of that wonder of Star Wars. But nonetheless, it's not peak Star Wars content by any means. So hopefully we'll get to find out, because right now the ratings numbers initially don't look good. We don't yet have a green light on season 2, but I'm sure, you know, the creators say that they would like to do another season. And we'll see if Disney grants them another season. Let's see how that plays out over time. Now, this is a story that I wanted to kind of get into with you.
Yeah, I saw this. Yeah.
It's not surprising because he has said this before, so it has come up in the past. And so I was aware that, yeah, I mean, Djimon Hounsou, despite the fact that he's been around for 3 decades, he's still struggling financially to make a living in Hollywood, and he's got, you know, 2 Oscar nominations to his name. Does this surprise you? I mean, he's very underpaid, and he's been a part of many blockbusters. He was, of course, in the Guardians movies. He's been in
the Quiet Place movies recently.
Gladiator 2. I mean, the Shazam movies. He's done so many things, and yet
he
still struggles to make a living. Yeah, Aquaman.
And that's
exactly
what it is for a lot of actors, because that's like, people see actors and they see like the Brad Pitts, the George Clooney's, the Timothy Chalamets that are in all these big blockbusters and leading men and women and all this other shit. Like big, like Rise, you got like your Jennifer Lawrences and like, you know, Angelina Jolie, all that stuff. So Cameron Diaz coming back, you know, all that stuff. But what people don't realize, like with every profession, there is the 1% and the 99%. The faces we constantly see, like, you know, like the biggest stars you could think of off the top of your head, those are the 1%. Like, same with, like, you know, the CEOs of corporations being the 1%. Like, these guys are the biggest and the richest of the rich. People kind of forget that like 99% of actors are struggling to fucking pay their rent. They're struggling to live just like the rest of us. But when we think of actors, that's hard to like wrap our heads around, because it's like, we think of like these big ornate names. It's like, oh, these multi-million dollar productions and all this other shit. And like, we don't think of like the people that are the extras in the background, you know. Like, I remember I was watching the story, Charles Martinet, who famously voices Mario. He was talking about this like teeny tiny role he had in the game. He played Michael Douglas's father in a flashback. I didn't know that. I was like, oh shit. And you don't think about that. Like, oh, this guy who played this memorable voice was this like guy who was in this like little thing. So we don't think about that. And I think the term actor really needs to like be thought of as a job. Like now, because it's like, it's easy to make fun of like the ultra rich actors that are in their bubble and, you know, only thinking of themselves. And it's easy to think about that like that's the same thing. Like, you know, we think of the Kardashians and Jeff Bezos kind of the same way, but it's like, we don't think about the Djimon Hounsous or, you know, like character actors where we're like, oh, that guy, he was in this. And it's like, yeah, that guy is kind of in like a studio apartment trying to fucking wonder like when he's going to get his next meal type of thing. So we don't think about that, but people should. I mean, because it's like, that's why they fucking went on strike with this AI bullshit. Because it's like, okay, so now you're cutting us down even fucking more than you already are. So it's like, you know, that's unfortunately
it's
the
not,
reality.
Yeah. And it's not easy. I mean, you know, with actors, like, you know, even ones that are as successful as Jaemin Hansu, you spend so much of your time auditioning for roles and like trying to figure out like where that next paycheck is coming from. And you know, if you end up on a TV show, you might get your schedule tied up for the whole year, and you might not get paid a ton of money, but then you know you can't take on too many other jobs. But and you know, like you mentioned, for a lot of actors, like their career might be defined by being on one iconic TV show for like 8 years. And that might be the biggest thing that they do. Outside of that, you try to do commercials, you do other like corporate, like just doing hosting reality shows and just stuff like that, where you try to make sure you're well off financially, obviously. But Jaemin Hansu, I think one of the just most iconic actors, black actors in Hollywood for years and years and years. I mean, he personally just wants to in his own words, he wants to just be remembered as somebody, as from West Africa, just make his, the people where he comes from just proud of what he has done. I'll just read the quote from him to just kind of like, summarize. He says, "I came to California with this compelling need to do something for my continent and to do something for my people in general, and to champion this idea of reconciliation and reconnection with the motherland." And then he continued saying, "I just hope that I have contributed to change the narrative about our people and the continent." So yeah, I mean, he's still very much underpaid, but I really, really do hope that Jaemin Hansu gets his due. He hasn't ever really had a breakout role. And I think unlike David Harbour, who kind of like went from being a character actor to being a lead in so many franchises to the point now he's doing a Marvel movie with Thunderbolts, I hope Jaemin Hansu gets that for himself sometime soon, because he's certainly deserving of it. And that's really the kind of break that he needs to kind of up like his asking price, which he deserves. He absolutely deserves. But yeah, with that said, John, let's keep the ball rolling here. I wanted to kind of get into a little bit more DC news. So but before we do that, let's wrap up the quick hit, shall we? So thanks again for, of course, sticking with us, and let us know in the comments down below what you thought.
Do all the things.
Do all the things. What did you think about Jaemin Hansu, what he said? Because yes, he makes a few good points there.
There it is. That's what I was pointing to. Yes. But you weren't fast on the draw, man.
I wasn't fast. You
gotta point to the likes and the notifications and the subscribbles and all that stuff.
All that good stuff. Let us know in the comments what you thought about the news today, whether it's Jaemin Hansu and the struggles that he still has 30 years into his career. Of course, we talked about, Skeleton Crew not off to a great start with its premiere, but will it get a second season? It was well received compared to The Acolyte, which got canceled after season 1. So, it was the only, I think it was the only, or if not maybe one of two shows. Yeah, it was one of two shows that Star Wars put out last year, and the one Acolyte got canceled. So will Skeleton Crew survive? Let us know, of course, what you thought about it if you saw Skeleton Crew. Mike Toth, of course, one of the veteran animators at Disney. He passed away, of course, and we did, spent a little bit of time remembering his contributions, such as Tarzan, Mulan, Hercules. Let us know which of those movies you enjoyed the most, of course, or how do you remember that era of Disney animation, the Renaissance era as it's known. And of course, we kicked off the show talking about Deadpool Wolverine joining Avengers Doomsday, which seemed like a foregone conclusion, but nonetheless, it's kind of now more of a well-known commodity. How big of a role do you think he'll have in that? Let us know in the comments. As always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and toggle that notification bell so we know when we have a new video going up or when we are live. We are live 5 days a week.